In Parma, there is a long, rich tradition of excellence, one that can be traced back to the hallowed halls of the Parma high schools, Parma Senior, Parma Shaft, and Parma Ridge High School. Here in these schools, traditions were bred in the classroom, in the community, and on the playing field. Because of recent efforts by many in the Parma High community, a link to these traditions has been created through the Parma Senior High School Athletic Hall of Fame. The concept of a Hall of Fame honoring exceptional Parma athletes has traveled a long road to its completion.
Well, there's been a lot of interest in it. I mean, since the 1920s, we have not had an official Hall of Fame. We had an unofficial Hall of Fame, but this is the first time we've had a formal Hall of Fame. The different alumni associations that come back to school, they quite often have asked about it, you know. The pressure to do this has always been there, and finally we needed somebody to sit down and really do something with it.
Parma Senior High School Athletic Director Ryan Madison answered the call to bring the Hall of Fame into existence.
About 5 years ago, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of our school, and that really kind of opened up the idea of, you know, reliving some of the history, going back and recognizing the history of the school. At the time, I was the head wrestling coach, and a colleague of mine, Bruce Saban, who was the head football coach at the time, we decided that we were going to recognize some of the outstanding athletes. And so as head coaches, we chose all decades teams, and we brought the people in, and we honored them at games. And that really showed us that, one, we needed to recognize the great athletes, but two, our current athletes really responded to that. They looked up to the people that were there as heroes almost, because again, they heard the names before, they finally got to beat the people. And so we said, this is something that needs to be done.
This response gave the added push to form the selection committee for a new athletic Hall of Fame.
What we came up with was we wanted to honor the people who were either graduates of Parma High School or one of the former Parma Highs, which is Shaft and Ridge. And so we were looking for this first class, the greatest of the great.
When the initial process was over, the committee had the task of combing through 75 to 100 names, the names of alumni representing nearly a century of history, to create the final induction class of 25 Parma Athletic Hall of Famers. The 45 years of experience that men like Bob Bolton possess made the selection process much easier.
Well, while I was in school, I either knew of them, either watched them prior to being in high school myself, or actually in some cases, had the opportunity to play with some of them. And as a result of that, playing with them and then seeing what they did after high school. They were fantastic athletes when they were here, and you always knew at some point in time they were going to be able to excel in their skills beyond the high school level.
After selecting the inductees, the job of informing each new member of their status as Hall of Famers fell to Athletic Director Madison.
Some of the people that were inducted are you know, pretty well known in the area of athletics, at least in their sport. But it was really surprising to see just really how humbled they were that they were being honored by their high school. You know, several of them made comments to us that it was a bigger honor for them to be inducted into their high school Hall of Fame than their collegiate Hall of Fame. And again, to us, that was a huge compliment. Because again, one of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to bring back the alumni back home to Parma High. And several of them have said that they haven't been back to Parma High since they graduated or soon after. Another thing that was I thought was pretty neat was a lot of the greats didn't consider themselves greats. And it was really refreshing to see that, for instance, they would say, I admired so-and-so when I was in school. And they were so honored that they were being included with so-and-so. It was just kind of a neat thing to tie the different generations together of athletic standouts. And again, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to now give our current students that same link to the past. And hopefully it's going to carry on to the future.
The inaugural class of the Parma High Athletic Hall of Fame contains the best of the best, names that stand apart as legends in our community. From field to court to track to diamond and across decades of time, the list of inductees shows what the Parma community is made of.
Now, a couple key words I think I can stress is one, pride. I really hope that the Hall of Fame encourages our students and our community members to have pride in Parma. Again, when the Browns do well, the Cleveland area has pride and excitement about the team. Our football team this year had a real nice season, and that brought a lot of our community together. And by having a Hall of Fame, it just highlights all the accomplishments of our former students, and I think that just leads to overall pride in our school and pride in our community.
The induction ceremony at Parma Senior High included an award presentation at halftime during the Parma Senior Valley Forge basketball game, and a more intimate gathering where inductees share the secrets of their success.
Something I think that we've all kind of left out as well, and I remember her very, very vividly, one of our faculty members who isn't involved in athletics, who had a great impact on me because she taught me a valuable lesson, Dr. Lockvader, who I had for biology. I was never a very strong student. I was a talented runner, and I think all of us have the ability to switch those talents into other areas. I learned that a little after I graduated from Parma, taking those strengths that we have on the field and putting them elsewhere. Thanks to her now, I've graduated from college, and I've gotten a master's degree, and I teach. So thank you to those other people out there besides the athletics. Also, thanks to my mom and my family. Thank you.
Well, first of all, it was very exciting. It was really, for myself, the culmination of 2.5 years of planning, and so the day was exciting to begin with. The actual events of the day were just phenomenal. Again, with the help of the Alumni Association, we were able to make the event a very special event, and Sharon Jones and Nancy Fadek, again, had a huge part in planning that, and they just did a superb job, and so it was a real first-class event.
Well, the energy was there. I mean, to see all these people come back and to talk to them and to talk to them about the high school days and what high school meant to them at that point in time. It was very exciting, but I could remember the first statement I indicated. I said, welcome back to where it all began. And this is where it all began. It began in our high school years. And that was kind of the prelude to getting into the discussion of telling them how much we appreciated them even coming back. And some of them came from out of town and made special arrangements to be here, and that was quite gratifying.
There's no doubt that the Hall of Fame honors those Parma alumni who have gone on to achieve momentous goals. But there is another, more humble goal of this Hall of Fame.
It also really helps people to appreciate the history of our school, and it's really provided a source of inspiration and motivation for our current athletes.
They're leaving a heck of a legacy here, and when persons come down the hall and they look at these pictures of these athletes up there, I think in terms, they'd like to think that they would at some point in time be up there, especially if they're involved in athletics. It just gives them a real boost to want to succeed. These people have all succeeded, not only as athletes, but academically they achieved also. And I think this is what it's all about. It's to make sure that we recognize those people that did some outstanding service to our schools and beyond. And I think that's what we want these youngsters to take a look at.
As an educator, Parma Senior High Principal Cassandra Johnson understands how effort and success on the playing field transfers into success in the classroom.
I think it's a step in terms of student involvement, but also letting our students know that regardless as to what you do or the goals that you set for yourself, you can achieve them. Look at these people that were just like you, came from the exact same high school as you did, and they've not only achieved their goals here at the high school level, but at the college level, at the professional level, and so forth. So your goals are not out of reach.
It took a lot of hard work to get all the necessary pieces together to form the Parma Senior High School Athletic Hall of Fame, and its completion speaks volumes for the Queen of High Schools.
We recognize and value our elders. We recognize and value our veterans. We recognize and value our stakeholders in general. And this is only one way that we can show our appreciation to our alumni, our community members, our board members, and so forth.
It takes dedication to be inducted into the Parma Senior High School Athletic Hall of Fame, and its creation took the same dedication from those involved.
Well, again, our Alumni Association is fantastic. The officers of the group are fantastic. They're always willing to be involved. And like I said, we've partnered up with the Athletic Department and the Alumni Association to, again, work together to start doing some of these great things that we really need to do.
Ryan Madison and the Parma Alumni Association, they did a wonderful job of setting this whole thing up. making the contacts, making sure that people knew where to come and how to come and so on, and arranging all of the refreshments and things of that sort, and just making the whole evening very, very nice.
Thanks to these efforts, the Parma Senior High School Athletic Hall of Fame and its honored inductees stand as living history, honoring the past and guiding our future.